we got Van. Welcome to the LFR Podcast, guys. What's going on, Van? Introduce yourself.
And I'm Van, LFR family, reaction channel. And we doing some great things over there. Amazing things, bro. 110,000 subscribers at this point. So whoa. That was yesterday. 111.
I think it's at 111 today. Yeah.
111. Get the hell out of here. But yeah, that's who I am. I'm Van. And yeah, we're gonna get busy.
We're going to get busy. Now, to kind of kick things off, you said a very key word. You said amazing. DJ, as you go to introduce yourself, I'm going to go ahead and let it be known we have a drinking game that's going on for anybody that's above the age of 21 or 21 or older. Anytime Van uses the phrase, y'all are so amazing. Y'all are amazing.
Oh, man, you ain't got any playing fair, bro.
Welcome
to the LFR Podcast, guys. This is our first official episode. We're going to get busy. DJ, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's DJ. Just here to have a good time, man. I'm the tech guy. You know, the reason you're watching this video right now is because I have a computer that's recording it and a good microphone, I guess. Hopefully they invited me for my personality, too.
A dazzling personality.
Awesome, dude.
But, I just want to preface the drinking game with please drink responsibly and don't drink and drive. Call an Uber if you are not at home watching this video and need to get home after you drink. But
that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. If you start feeling a little bit too over the edge, just ask yourself, what would LFR Jesus do?
And then do the opposite. Do the opposite.
I like that.
LFR
Jesus do. Hey, that's dope.
So, now, we've got a lot of things
that we want to talk about. One responsible motherfucker on the channel. Okay, hey, look. Okay, go ahead.
We've got a few things that we want to talk about here, but I think it'd only be fitting to take some time to get to understand Van in maybe a more personal way than we do in the reactions. So, like for me, I'll kind of give a testimony to myself. Just like DJ said, he's a guy with a computer that can hit the record button. I'm a guy with long hair and loud opinions, I guess. Some people call me an asshole.
Loud.
Some people call me beautiful. I feel like I'm more.
What else they call you? Give us some bad.
So I'm just some guy that talks to Van quite a bit, but I've grown to know Van pretty well, and he's been there for me in more ways than I can try to articulate here. So I want you guys to kind of get to know him as well and understand what drives him and understand, where he's coming from. And we actually have a question from Jane and Kevin, one of our supporters over in Ireland. If you want to kind of give us like a premise of when you started the LFR channel, what was your initial goals? But have your answer be something along the lines of like, why is it that was your initial goals? What is it about you that when you started your journey, this is where I want to start. This is what I want to do. What makes you in the content creator that you are?
God damn, that's a dope ass first question. The rest of what we got about 2 hours. This gonna take the whole 2 hours. Okay, well, y'all already know my story, man, and I've been chasing something for my entire life. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but I was in 7th grade already managing singing groups. I already had like girl singing groups. I was managing them in freaking middle school only because I was the person that every single time we had a basketball game, Van will sing something in halftime. Van would dance, Van would flip, Van would do whatever the fuck he had to do to get up out of where I was from. You know what I mean? And then over when it came Christmas time, we freaking sung at barbershops for money. All throughout the day, we will wash windows at the gas stations and pump gas for money. I always was doing all of the legal shit to get up out of where I was from.
That's a very important thing to say that you were doing the legal shit.
I was doing the legal shit to get
right.
up.
And that's huge because, like, you know, there's obviously always the conversation of where you grew up, where are you from, you know.
Right.
Right. There's a lyric from Flowbots, one of my favorite lyrics, and one of their songs says, "What's in your alleyways? Recycling bins or bullet cases?" You know, so
Right.
there's so many people who grow up in different areas, but the struggles are the same. Financial struggles, they also happen in Silicon Valley. You know, there's people that are broke, that are also rich, that are also really, really broke. So understanding at a young age a talent that you had and being able to find a legal hustle, that speaks a lot to something that I wish people spoke more about.
Well, listen to me, man. If you look at, I don't know if, you have, but a lot of you have not seen my Instagram channel. Look through that motherfucker. Oh my God. I'm talking about the content that's on there. Speaking of Instagram, some great fucking news happened today. And listen to this. I am such a content creator because I'm always that person. For some strange reason, that's always been me. Brandon, I think you're starting to realize that, DJ too. But over the last 24 hours, I have grown 500 followers on Instagram. The last 24 hours, bro, because I've been putting in content. 2 months ago, I started on freaking TikTok. 3 months ago, I started on TikTok. And I am already at freaking 18,000 followers. And I'm only following 15 people. That's
now, tell yourself that as like you're talking to Welfare Boy, right? Like
I can't
right now. Tell yourself that.
Let me tell you something. I would never. I always saw myself going somewhere. I wanted to be fucking Bobby Brown. That's a hot take right there. I wanted to be Bobby Brown. No, seriously. I wanted to be Bobby Brown, man. I wanted to be freaking singing a New Edition. You know what I mean? I wanted to be one of those artists. Like, I was the kid that in those corny movies, somebody say, "No, man, I want to be a baseball player." And ever since they're 2 years old, they got a baseball cap, they're hitting baseballs and stuff like that. That's the type of movie that you see when somebody is so dedicated to one thing.
Mm-hmm.
That one thing is using my glow. Whatever the fuck it is about me that's different, I want to use this to get the fuck up out of here, man.
Now, do you think that there's Do you think there's a downside? Do you think that there's a downside to that? So you honed into a very specific skill, which was singing, being creative, that kind of stuff. You know, there's people that I grew up with that the only thing they've ever done is play basketball. There's people that the only thing that they've ever done is run cross country. You know what I mean? Like there's that lane that you get into where you're hyper focused on something as a child, and then when you grow up and that isn't what your lifestyle is, you have that kind of identity crisis. You, on the flip side, identified a skill within yourself that transcends your age, that transcends your skill level at the specific time compared to the future. And there isn't a league to put yourself into, you know, like how many kids go into their freshman year of high school thinking, I'm going to be a star football player, I'm going to be the quarterback. No. And then they show up to the first practice that they've ever been to because they've never played Little League. And they're like, holy shit, what do you mean I have to run 4 miles and do down-ups and push-ups and get hit by the biggest guy here? Like, what do you mean this is what I have to do? So, like, I feel like there's a disadvantage when you get put into a lane at a young age, unless you have the right people around you that are encouraging you to focus on those things like you did, your creativity, your singing, your expression, the way that you carry yourself. Because I see that come through you quite a bit now, you know, like, if you've always visioned yourself as being someone who's going to stand out, you start to walk that way after so long. Wow. You know, like you have this, not to just call it swag, but you have this awareness of, I see you and you're not going to stop me from me being me. And I see you and I see how this is going to help me be a better me, you know? And I think that's a lot of what a lot of people want to hear from you.
You know, you preaching, right?
Well, I think that's what people want to hear from you is those experiences where, like, if you knew at a young age you were going to sing and you were going to do this, you wanted to be Bobby Brown, you wanted to do all these things. What were those things at a young age that triggered those epiphanies? Like, okay, this is clicking for me. This is working for me.
Shit, bruh. Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is my all-time favorite.
Sheesh.
He's my all-time favorite comedian. And he has this one about ice cream. That's when the ice cream man is coming, and you broke as hell when you're in a certain neighborhood. When you hear that goddamn ice cream man, it comes through the block, man. And fuck, man, most of us can't afford no ice cream cone, but we get excited because we fucking hear the ice cream man outside of our apartment building that holds freaking 40 families. But we get so excited, man. We get so fucking excited. Although we can't afford it. And then when we can, here, take the 65 cents and go get you, and we gone. Like, the shit, we are gone. Don't, motherfucker, you better not pull off. We run into that shit. I mean, seriously, it was that fucking type of environment, man. And then to not have your dad, not have your mom, be raised under a family that you wasn't birthed from. No one in the house having a job. Fucking welfare is all you know. In and out the system, waiting to be adopted. Shit, bro, what?
So you tuned into that go get it so that you can have it rather than go take it so it's yours.
Here's the thing, I had to grow. And listen to me, and I don't know if y'all, probably some of y'all already know just from watching some of my videos. I had to grow into the go get it from the go take it, because at a young age, my oldest cousin taught me how to defend myself, but he just so happened to be the person that taught me how to defend myself. So happened to be the goddamn neighborhood bully. So my big cousin, Donald, who is a millionaire right now from having the same type of hustle, but going the real estate way and then this way, he went his own way, right? God damn it. This dude is beating the shit out of people all around Southeast DC, one of the worst neighborhoods. Livingston Road and 3rd Street, man. He's beating the shit out of everybody. When they see my big brother, they fucking run. But he's not my brother. He's my freaking cousin, whose mom decided to foster me since my mother and my father left me. So he's teaching me everything he knows. He's not teaching me to defend myself. He's teaching me to be the next, what you think, bully around the fucking block. Unfortunately, though, I'm the skinniest nigga on the block. I'm one of the skinniest ones. So you teach me all these strong nigga moves, and I'm the skinniest dude around here. But guess what? I grew up to be that guy that was smaller than everybody, but everybody was fucking scared of because my brother taught me that. But then I later started to see punching people in the face and taking shit from them is not right. Taking their bike is not right. I had to grow from that go take it to go get it. I grew from that because of that right there. The neighborhood bully taught me everything he knew. In order to survive this neighborhood that we're from. To the point where we will be outside of our neighborhood, man, 4505 3rd Street, bro. We will be in front of the daggone apartment in DC. And he would see somebody walking down the block. Don't give a fuck if they was 2, 3, 4, 5 years older than me. And he'd say, go punch him in his face. Now, I either had to do it or fight him. What the fuck you think I'm gonna do? So I'm walking up to strangers because he's raising a pit bull, man. He literally raised the pit bull. People don't understand that. He raised the pit bull.
Now, when you walked up to punch that stranger in the face under the conditions that you were under, did you walk up there understanding? Was there an understanding that he had your back if the tables turned on you, or were you going in there? This is mano y mano, and I'm being forced into this, sink or swim situation.
Again, I had to grow into that because I began thinking that it was mano y mano until I got my ass whooped and he just stood right there. Mm. You feel me? I had to grow into that. Because he taught me that, nah, nigga, is what you get is what you give. And in order to get through him, you skinny too. Everybody gonna fuck with you around here. You're not one of the tallest around here. Everybody going. That's how it was. Mm-hmm. And until I punched somebody in their face and they swung back and they was bigger than me and almost beat the brakes off me. And I saw my big brother like, nah. Let him get it in. Then I grew into, okay, when he told me to do this, already got to be ready. Mm-hmm. You don't give a fuck how big they was, man. I will, One thing though, and some people, here's the thing. One thing, I went through I was one of the only people in my neighborhood who never slept anybody, never knocked them out. But that was a big thing, because although everybody knew not to Van, because Van is just Van, although there was some other neighborhood bullies that didn't give a fuck about my big brother, like, nigga, what? Because they was the actual ones who was running around with guns, selling coke and all that other stuff. I wasn't that, because I decided not to be that. Mm-hmm. But man, I don't know what to say, man. This shit, man. People would be surprised of who this guy is, and when I decided to transition from go take it.
Well, that's one thing that I'll speak to. So, with where I grew up in the suburbs of Detroit, right? Like I wasn't in the hood. I wasn't in a really super rough area for my neighborhood, but when you're in the suburbs of Detroit, it's like being in the suburbs of a lot of other big cities. Right. It could be a generally wealthy neighborhood, and then the next block over be somewhere that you shouldn't go. You know what I mean? So I grew up in an area where it was
right next to the hood. Then whatever the hood spot was, you was right next to it.
Yeah, when Eminem said he's gonna walk his white ass back across 8 Mile, I felt that line. You know, like there's so there's areas where gang activity exists. There's areas where street code or street law or ethics are far more tangible than saying hello to somebody as you walk by them on the street. There's pockets of a lot of different cultures and areas where I grew up. But one of the biggest things was being able to see, once you went to school, I think there was like close to 600 students just in my graduating class, let alone the whole 9 through 12 that was in that school. Okay. So it was a gigantic school. So you saw an area where there was really no popularity, but you saw each one of these neighborhoods and each one of these cultures and each one of these different kind of groups and the way that they would work and the way that they would benefit within their own areas. And me being somebody who played sports, I had friends that looked like everybody. I had black friends, white friends, Hispanic friends. When you play sports, it's a very blended. It's a very blended experience. But you see those things as a white kid. When I saw as a white kid, when I saw two black kids for the first time scrap, and knowing that their friends are both standing there, and they're like, "No, let him get it," and I'm like, why aren't you helping? Like, why? Like, don't jump the guy, but like, why aren't you helping? Like, as a white kid, I didn't get it. I hadn't seen that kind of. You've got to be who you are, and you've got to see where you stack up. And for that, I was always, for a very long time, I was very timid playing sports because I saw these things that were happening off the court or off the field, and I'm like, these guys will really fuck me up. Like, I'm playing by the rules. We're all playing organized right now. You know what I mean?
You stepped your game up so you can be able to handle yourself as a man.
Yeah, it took a long time, and living in an area that I lived in, There was a lot of times where I was the only white person in the room, but there was also a lot of times where there was only one black person in the room. It just depended on what event you were at or what situation you were in. But it's a very weird thing to think that something other than that exists, right? Like we're seeing an example from you that's, if anybody has watched Rhythm and whatever it was with Cardi B and all them. Smoke has a very similar story where he lived street. I have to go out and I have to fight the strongest guy, the biggest guy, and he turned into a bilingual Spanish teacher for his local high school. That's got gang activity and all of these things. So you saw that creativity where he clicked. He's like, I see my legal hustle, I see my lane, and rather than getting caught up in the gang life that most of my family is, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to make my own team.
That's cool, because it was right there for you to take. You could have that could have been your way. And here's the thing too, Brandon, LFR Jesus, LFR Lord, thy Savior, yeah, it's still in your reach. But each day you've been training yourself to become a better and better and better and better and better person. You can still reach it if you want it. You can still reach any part of it you want. Hold on 1 second. Yes. Okay. Thank you, DJ. I got you, man. You the man.
Now, DJ, tell us a little bit about where you grew up, because you're East Coast as well, too, right?
Yeah, I don't have a story like that, guys.
That's why we laughing at that. I ain't got no story like that.
It wasn't
broke? Okay, cool.
It wasn't that tough for me, to be honest. I have two parents. They both were great. And
how was that, man? Like, okay, I don't
know no different.
How was that? Oh my God. I had two parents. They were great. Yeah, tell us about that, asshole.
Hold on. I don't mean no harm, bro. That sounds so damn broke. How was it? God.
Yeah, man. They're both great. Yeah, they're super nice.
When did they meet each other, man?
Bowling. We bowl in this family, dude. So
y'all are bowlers, huh?
Hell yeah, yeah. I used to, like, when high school, man, I was in like some national tournaments and some shit for some bowling.
For real?
Yeah, for real. I made some money. I made some scholarship money. They couldn't pay you in cash as a 16-year-old. They had to give you like a scholarship, but I did that.
God, yeah.
And
what the fuck?
That was my thing.
Seriously, when did you first start bowling, bro?
Oh, I was probably like 5. And
wow,
it got real serious at it for a little bit. And everybody's like, "Oh, that ain't no sport, man. You try to do it that often, it hurts after a while." My knees,
I can imagine,
my knees creak. I can't walk up and down the stairs without my ankle cracking every time. On every stair, my ankle crack.
Oh goddamn, man! You've been playing bowling a lot.
But I honestly haven't done it for a while now because I'm old. But
you miss it?
I don't miss how much money it costs. You know, that's an expensive. That's a bougie sport. Yeah, and but no, I mean, like I don't really have like a struggle story, so to speak, but I mean,
hold on, goddamn it, you don't need no goddamn struggle story.
Well, my question is, why is glow bowling not part of the competitive structure?
We hate that shit, dude. We hate that shit.
I don't care if you hate it or not. Guess what? It make me watch it. If there's black lights and like green and purple smoke, and you've got to go through obstacles and laser distractions, I'm gonna watch you bowl.
We be avoiding that. You seen Dave Chappelle on one of the Dave Chappelle show episodes? They did the AM1 mixtape for other sports, and the dude was playing defense and bowling. Yeah, that should be.
So given that DJ bowled a lot and we had our own unique stories, how do we all feel that has played into our music taste? Ben, you have a reaction channel. A lot of your content, not all of it, but a lot of your content is music based. How do you think that your upbringing?
I'm glad you said that, bro.
What your adult life music interests are.
It's almost like we're working in tandem, man. That's why you are the person that's asking these fucking questions right now, because it's like, you understand it. Now listen to me. I'm serious. I'm so serious. I had to go get my baby girls some Chipotle. They wanted some damn Chipotle. They always want something. They yesterday was Checkers. Day before that, y'all remember it was Popeyes. But anyway, I'm going to get their food, and I was just now thinking, man. I was like, I should talk about that same shit that Brandon just now asked me. Real talk. I was thinking about all the type of ways. I just now forgot my fucking thought. Van Hall, I forgot you've got your thought.
About how our past is in made us informed with what we enjoy now, right? Like our music endeavors and the lanes that we have appreciated.
One thing I was listening to Roy Woods, and Roy Woods was talking about the reasons why Black people aren't really as patriotic as the rest of the world, right? And I don't know if people notice that, because Black people never made any songs about patriotism. Most of those are made by white people who have had better experiences than Black people. And he said, if you want to know about that, you can just listen to the music that they sing about. You learn mostly everything about people from what they sing about, what they rap about. Just by their music. The music tells you what the fuck we love. Period. If you listen to rap, that's what we love. If you listen to R&B, that's what we love. If you can't think of a singer right now that's Black that made some patriotic song, I mean, I'm just saying, we talk about our city, we talk about our state that we love. We talk about our club that we love. We talk about our drug that we love. We talk about our drink that we love. But where's the patriotic songs?
Right.
So we sing about what we know. So it's always been that. So that trained me to want to be who I am right now. That trained me to, like, everything that I know right now comes from the music. Seriously.
Yeah, and see, there's another side of that too, which I think is what kind of shaped my music taste, is growing up in an area that I grew up in. And as a kid, I never thought of it this way. You know, this isn't something that I'm talking as like I realized this when I was in school.
Right.
I had no idea that this is what it was. But now looking back at it, growing up as not only, you know, a white dude or a Black dude or whatever, for me, my personal experience is I was a white kid that was it wasn't mostly white, it wasn't mostly Black. It was just like, there was not really a spot that felt like home because it was so well mixed. You know, there wasn't a popularity thing. But not only was I growing up that way,
the Black and white artists. You always listen to Black and white artists.
Right, but it made it difficult up until maybe high school for me to really understand where I was in that. You know, like I told you about my last pair of basketball shoes was those belligerently disrespectful to everyone's eyes T-Max that came out in early 2000s. Which that was my last pair.
Tracy McGrady is in my top 10 of all time.
So that's kind of that environment that I'm getting at. At that moment when I had those shoes, I was in middle school and I had just made it onto the basketball team. And I was like, I'm a basketball player. I that's what I am now, right? Like it wasn't that I knew what I wanted to do. It wasn't that I knew where I fit in. Culture was something that I had never really experienced other than when I had gone and sat at my desk and saw somebody that didn't look like me talk, you know, a couple desks over. It was all of that culture was so close to me, but I only experienced it in school. So as I started to be involved with basketball or football or whatever, I started to put on these, you know, ridiculous shoes that I'm sure everybody, shout out to anyone who went to my high school or middle school, if you remember those shoes, how dumb they looked, right? Yeah. But now as an adult, I look back on it and I realize it was like, I was a white kid that had no idea what I was, you know, like there was no, like other cultures have a very.
Hold on. That's, you know what? God damn it. Do you know what you are?
I'm a white dude.
You're like if me and DJ had a baby.
Hey, man. Hey, man.
Right there. Hey, DJ. He's right there in the middle, bro.
Dude.
Right. Well, there came to a point where in my early high school time, I got into rock music, and it was because I stumbled upon a type of music that it described what it felt like to be an outcast, right? And to be an outcast as a white person, in my mind then, I didn't really understand what it was, but it was like, not only do I not feel like I fit in with the people who I'm surrounded by, but I don't feel like I fit in with the people who look like me either. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what kind of white person am I? What kind of this am I like? And it took a long time.
You need to add a little bit of sugar to that, because God damn it, you leaving one thing out. And I need you to keep it a buck, God damn it, because I already know. Pussy came real early to you at a real young age.
No. So we're gonna get into music, but I will I'll divert really quick. We're gonna get into music, but we'll divert real quick, and I'll tell you that pussy did not come early for me.
Yeah, you in the hood?
No.
Hey, you come on.
No. Listen, this is. I'll tell you right here. You want some content that you can put on blast on the internet? Craig, here you go. I hope you're listening. When I lost my virginity, and if my parents listen to this, I'm sorry, but your son was way smarter than you thought I was. So I lost my virginity when I was 18 years old. And I was still in. I don't even know if I had turned 18 yet. I have been 17 to 18. But it was my senior year. I had been dating a girl that I met on Xbox Live. Right? I'll say that again. I had been dating a girl who I'd met on Xbox Live playing a video game.
Xbox Live.
Correct. Now she lived in Singapore.
You had the gold membership then, bro.
Yeah, yep. So she lived in Singapore. She lived in Singapore at the time. After a little while, we played for a little bit. We added each other on MySpace because that was the thing. And I was like, holy shit, this girl's actually really attractive. So we start talking more. We end up being boyfriend and girlfriend from different sides of the world, however that works. But as kids, it was fine for us, right? I would take her to parts of the map. If you know video games, I would get her in a Warthog, which is a vehicle in the game, and I would drive her to a particular part in the map that might show like a sunset in the background. In the environment or something.
You are genius. So you mean to tell me that you set up a date on a game?
On a video game.
Man, that's so smart.
I did live events before Fortnite. But anyways, so we end up.
Come on, bro. He set up do you see exactly what happened, bro?
I am judging him right now.
So listen. So like I said, she lived
behind these bushes.
She lived in Singapore, right? She lived in Singapore. Come to find out, her mom, I don't know what company, but she was in the medical industry and medical sales. So she had multiple offices in multiple countries, and she traveled for some work within the medical industry. And she had enough frequent flyer miles to where when we'll call her by her first name, Christy, but no last name. When Christy was a senior, when we were both seniors, she came back to Georgia to finish school in the United States.
Right.
And her mom used her frequent flyer miles to fly me down to Georgia to go to prom with them down there. And without getting too vulgar, we fucked the whole weekend, and then we broke up.
Hold on. Not get too vulgar.
I let my guard down.
Did not get too vulgar.
I let my damn guard down.
She was a beautiful host. She was a Southern Georgia peach, and for the longest time, she was the one that got away from me. And I don't want to disrespect her in any way. In the off chance that she does see this, you were great. And your dad's Corvette was really super cool. And when your friends put the bubble bath in the fountain in downtown, whatever city you live in, and everyone was just having a great time, that was phenomenal. But yeah, Van, pussy didn't come early for me. I had to work for it. We'll use a video game term. I literally had to grind for it.
Let me tell you
fly miles and miles and miles.
But you don't think that it was ever your decision? Because
my decision.
Yeah,
no, I was gonna save myself for marriage. Yeah, I didn't want to, like, that was my thing. Is it came late for me because I didn't.
It was
either I was too afraid to do it because like it was never something that I talked about. It was either I was too afraid to get into sex, or it was the religious side of it. Is like, I'm gonna wait till marriage. So
that's smart as hell. That's smart as hell. That's smart as hell. Me, shit. Yeah, I ain't gonna say none of that, but yeah, there's got.
You know, being that you were willing to walk up to random strangers and punch them in the face, I'm not even wanting to hear about what you was willing to do with random women you met. So
DJ, let me tell you something. Let me say, hey DJ, I'm a nice guy, man. I'm nice as hell, man. I mean, trust me. I just, you know what inspired me? I'm glad you said something about that, because what inspired me and what actually like breathed on me, like preached to me, was, would you rather get hit or would you rather hit? Because that was the environment I was in, and I was like, shit.
See, and me, I would have been like, all right, well, do your best, I guess.
Hey, DJ, and I was at the point where I was like, if you even look at me, that was me. I loved getting suspended, but I also was a hustler on the side for my Bobby Brown dreams. You know, I wanted to really get I always had it tugging on me. Does that make sense? That the street side was tugging on my creative side. That was like, man, stay from over there, man. Stop hanging with them. But those were my fucking best friends. The guys over there, those was my best friends. My best friend got shot and killed when he was 15 years old.
Yeah.
That was my best friend. R.I.P. Jesse. That was my best friend. That was the very first funeral that I sung at.
That's crazy.
Think about that. My very first funeral, I'm singing at as a 15-year-old. And I sung at like 4 more before I graduated high school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then my big brother, my cousin, whose father is a fucking doctor, he's able to get nice things. He's able to get nice things from his dad. I'm living with his mom in the actual fucking hood. He gave his little brother a leather jacket. He gave me a leather jacket, man. I was like, man, this is my brother. What? I look fly as shit. Everybody loved that leather jacket. It fit me. He bought me a leather jacket. I went to go sing at my best friend's funeral. Another one of them when I was in the 11th grade. Shot and killed again. And got fucking robbed at the funeral. Bruh.
You got robbed?
I got fucking robbed for my jacket at the funeral.
Now, in that moment, were you aware exactly of what was happening in that, like, at that age? That, like, so for me, like, I remember growing up and somebody approaching me, and not to relate the two things, but at that age, somebody was approaching me and they wanted me to sing at church, right? When I went up to sing at church, it, like, looking back at it now, I understand that it was a completely different thing than what I thought it was in the moment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In that moment when you were singing at your first funerals, did you really grasp what was, or were you just doing what you were supposed to do? Did you really get it at that point?
I really got it. Brandon, I really fucking got it. I got it.
Yeah.
I didn't already remember. This is my 11th grade year in high school, my junior year. And I'm singing at another friend's funeral. I done did it already when I was 15 with my man Jesse. Doing the same thing. My best friends are over there, man. These are my best, bruh. Not people I fucking know.
Mm-hmm.
Not, oh yeah, I know him because he wild as hell, he's popular as hell, or he's selling drugs, or he a killer. No, I was their fucking best friends, man. 3rd Street was one of the worst neighborhoods in Southeast DC. The biggest bully down the block on Livingston Road was my brother. The biggest bully up the block on 3rd Street, which was huge, nothing but killers, was a guy named Papoose. And he was raising up another pit bull. His name was Bruce. Down the block on Livingston Road, I'm that guy. Up the block on 3rd Street, Bruce is that guy. Every time we met up, we was pit bulls. Every time we met up.
See, I think that.
Hold on, Brandon. Hold on. I just got this one thing to say. This shit went on since in 3rd grade. No matter what grade we went in, we was fucking each other up. And people knew not to fuck with him, and people knew how not to fuck with me. But check this out. I met my wife in the 10th grade. And when I met her, best thing I ever saw in my life. Like, seriously, right there in the cafeteria. I'm not even going to touch on that right now because that take forever. But here's the thing. Bruce stayed back. He stayed back. Been arrested a bunch of times because he was way over there on that side. He was the bully on the drug, killing people, robbing people's side. I was the bully on the people that, man, don't just fuck with me. I ain't doing no crime shit, but he was the one on the crime shit. Think about that. This dude, man, I met my wife in the 10th grade. Been dating her ever since, and then we got married. In 11th grade, he comes to that school. To the high schools in DC start at 10th grade, 10th to 12th. And the first person he tried to talk to was my wife, my girlfriend at the time, who we broke up for the summer because I fucked up. Right? But everybody knew that's Van's girl in Ballou High School. The worst high school in DC, bruh. Think about that shit. Ballou, my high school, the worst high school in DC. People knew that my wife was my girl. Don't fucking mess with her. Bruce came to that school a year after me because he stayed back, been locked up and all this other stuff. And we're not together for that summer because I fucked up. He ended up getting her number. He got her number. And check this shit out. This dude he's killed people at this point. Think about that. He's killed people at this point. Somebody tell him, bro, that's Van girl. You know what the fuck he did? I'm sorry, shawty, I can't talk to you. That's who the fuck I was in high school, bro. That's who I was. I had to move from that, bro. The focus that it took to not go and shoot some motherfuckers was crazy. This shit right here, when my damn family, they already stamped me as this. They stamped me as this. Yep. I was the joke of the family. That's welfare boy. They nicknamed me, man, for a fucking joke. So what I do with it? Yeah, I'm always learning everything that's on that side. The killer, the hustler, all that shit, I know. But I never fucking did because I was always the guy who never wanted to be the smartest one in the room in what you're great at. Think about that. I'm smart when it comes to books and shit because that's what I pay attention to. But when it comes to that hustle, when it comes to selling things, when it comes to doing things, stealing things, I'm the dumbest one in the room because this is their skill. Tell me what you know. That was always me. Tell me what you know. Tell me what you know. Tell me what you know. And from that, nigga, I'm great at both sides if I have to be. I just decided for the life of, so my family not have to go through what I went through, do that. You still know how to do that, but do that. But guess what? And Brandon, this means a lot, man, because when it comes to you and how you was fucking raised, dude, you have both sides. You're used to that shit.
I mean, I'm used to seeing it, but it took a long time to get to the point where I was comfortable even with myself in that environment. You know, like I grew up, you know, every white person knows the most horribly racist things that you can say. We're familiar with the way that they sound. We know how we can remember a time that somebody that looks like us said that thing.
Right.
You know, like
we heard our grandparents say it.
Yeah, like there's this really weird awareness with. I'll be bold enough to say, in particular, with my generation specifically. You know, I was born in 1990. We're the last generation of human beings that will ever remember a time before internet. You know, like my generation is the last generation that will ever remember a time before the internet. Yeah. So we remember the social structure. You know, like I remember what it was like feeling like, you know, like
that's big, man.
I'm not afraid to say names in a good way, so I'll go ahead and say this. I'll shout out David Freeman, DJ. He was the quarterback of our high school football team. He's a phenomenal human being. His dad, rest in peace, he passed recently, the last few years. And DJ was always the star athlete that, you know, as his teammate, I looked up to him. You know, like I admired the way that he stayed focused on training and being that good at what he did. And his little brother, Alan, was just as impressive. They were quarterback was DJ, running back was Alan. They were a team. And I saw that was the first time that I had ever heard a conversation. It was between, I want to say it was his mom and some other family members, where they were talking about DJ and Alan. And there was a term that was used, a statement that I'd never heard, and it said it takes a community to raise a child. And as a white kid, I'd never heard anything like that. Like I knew who my friends' parents were, but I didn't really know them. You know, like they didn't have any impressions on me. Like that, white culture is not really community driven. You know, like you have your accomplishments and your accolades and your legacies that you want to lay, and the American dream that you want to pave for, you know, like a good and comfortable life for your kids and going forward. But I didn't know, it took me a long time to realize I didn't know really shit about anything that was happening around me, even though I was right in the middle of all of it. You know, like I don't want to say it's all white families or all white cultures, but it was just for me, where I grew up, white people didn't really have a sense of community. Like I felt closer with my team than I felt with friends that looked the same as me, you know, like, and that was a weird place. That's why I said it was difficult, because I had to find where I fit in. You know, am I talking too black? Am I trying to, does it look like I'm trying to act black? Does it look like I'm trying to do this or to, you know, like it was a really weird place. So I became the humor guy, you know, like I'm going to make everyone laugh. I'm not going to be the best person on the team. I'm not going to be the strongest person on the team. I'm not going to be the best grades in the class. I'm not going to be any of those things.
You'll be the comedian.
You're going to enjoy talking to me. You know, like I'm going to brighten the room. And you think about comedians, a lot of comedians are really messed up, not necessarily because of things that may or may not have happened to them directly, but the way that they've thought things out in our head. You know, like I can't say that I'm a comedian, but I relate in the way of a comedian, where if you have a bit, you've thought of that bit in every single way that it could ever be articulated.
Right.
And when you grow up in an environment where everything looks different and there isn't really any just warm pool to dip your feet in and be comfortable, you kind of built this character. And it took me up until the last 5 years to understand that character that I was then is not even close to who I am now. You know, like the things that I do today, the people that I talk to today, the friends that I have, the things that I identify as. Like if I was to speak to somebody from high school in this same conversation, they'd be like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" This is not. This is not the person we remember. You know. There's advantages of being able to see examples of things, but there's a very real disadvantage, which I think we see a lot in the white community.
Have you ever been popular though?
Have I ever been popular?
At what age? I mean, especially high school. What age have you been popular in?
Everybody knew me, but my class was like, my school was too big to have. Like, I talked about DJ. If you wanted to talk about popularity, I guess DJ would have been it. But there wasn't really that sense of popularity in my school. It was too big. You know, like you knew who each other were, but that was kind of it. There was like circles of friends and stuff. But I noticed very early on it was easy for me to get along with people. Yeah, it was easy. It was easy for me to get along with people. It may not be easy for me to make them like me, but I could at least be in a safe environment talking to them. As long as I could keep it as a conversation, I was able to control myself and my comfort levels. But it took me a very long time to understand what any of that meant. And I think that you see that a lot in white culture is that we've been so sheltered from trying not to act like or be certain things that we don't understand any of it at all.
Bro, I never understood that shit ever. And honestly, I think it's an amazing place to be. Like, that's the thing that y'all probably think. I mean, I'm gonna be 100%. Okay. DJ and Brandon, when someone is your complexion or born of your race, people think that you automatically have it better. You think you automatically have an advantage. It's because of what we went through. So it's like, and I know y'all from your life experience, from all of your life experiences, you have dealt with some serious shit that that nobody will be able to go through. When you think of your life, a lot of you will be able to think of times, of things that you've been through. No matter what race you are, you're gonna think of some shit that's gonna say, man, I don't know anybody that could have gone through what I've been through. This shit was hard. They let that happen to me. I could never get out of this. I was the only white person here, and I got bullied, or I got beat up, or I had to do this, or I had to do that, or they took this from me, or they took that. Your life has probably been some places, if you want to range where it was and where you are right now. But we still don't give a fuck about that off top. We automatically look at you and say, you're white. And you've been through some shit, but you haven't been through our shit. I mean, seriously. And that's how we look at that. Are we wrong? There's
a lot of white people that hold resentment, and I'm sure people of every color, but I say white people because I am a white people.
I am a white people.
There's a resentment towards that, like you have an advantage for being white, right? If you're speaking on a general, like, level playing field, I mean, yeah, there's advantages to being white as far as certain social structures or demographics or certain things, but there's also disadvantages to being white if you don't want to be an office manager at a desk. Like, it's if you don't want to be the Jones family, you're at a pretty big disadvantage as a white person. Like, for me, if I wanted to walk up and say I want to be, I don't know, a pole vaulter or something, I don't know, maybe everybody can do that.
Nah, you'd still be good with a white.
Different from what we usually known for. Shit.
Right. Like, if I wanted to be a bobsled guy, like, regardless of my color, there's nothing close to me that I have access to even understand that thing, right? But as a white person, if you don't find where you're comfortable at an early age, or let me rephrase that, if you find where you're comfortable at an early age, it allows you to be ignorant to everything else that's around you, right? And I'm sure it does the same thing with every other race or culture.
Oh my God, right? Do you know how deep that is, bro? Pause. What the fuck?
Right. So, like, for me, my advantages as a white person doesn't necessarily help me in being like, I want to have long hair. I love dreads. I want to put my hair in dreads. But every time I talk about it, people look at me like I'm crazy, stupid, or shouldn't do it. Like, even though that's not an advantage in life. Front of
like 5 black chicks looking at you right now. Here's the thing. This is the bullshit. This is one of things I hate about, you know what I mean? I hate on this dude about a little bit. I hate on this dude a little bit. This, if he's still to left me right here. This dude, man, look at his fucking hair. All right, check this out. Me, as you can see from the chin, fro, I was the black guy in the neighborhood with good hair. And I knew the power of hair. And I got hair. But this nigga, you got hair. and here's the thing. Women love that shit. And if he can sit here and say that they don't, he's lying like shit. He's used, look at how he got it laid right now, nigga. This nigga, like, come on, bro.
Well, but to take it back to the conversation of advantages, like both you and I know hair is an advantage, right?
Right.
But and everybody here, we all know my preference. Like for me, I date almost exclusively women that are not the same color than me.
See,
right?
I told you, because those are the ones that look at your shit be like, what the fuck?
But listen, let's flip this, right?
Game.
This is completely off topic to what we were supposed to get on today, but we'll talk about it, all right?
I'm hating on you about
if I was to download the Tinder app, it is not acceptable for me as a white person, as a white guy, to set a preference of only showing me black women in my area on Tinder. I can't do that.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So now if I wanted to download Tinder or some of these dating apps, I have to be the guy that swipes no on every white girl for no reason, and then start swiping yes on every black girl for no reason.
Because I can speculate why you like black women over white women, but why do you do that? Why?
But listen. What I'm saying is, as a white guy, it's very difficult to say, I prefer a queen next to me. I prefer to have somebody that doesn't look like me. I prefer culture, right? It's difficult for me to walk into a room and be like, hey, just all the females in here understand, if you think I'm cute, I only like black girls. So like, that sounds horrible to just come out and say, right? But I don't carry myself in a way, like with my hair, like I don't dress a certain way, I don't talk a certain way. There's not a way as a white person to say I don't particularly like white culture or white relationships or white things without it making a way different conversation.
Do you know how that makes DJ feel?
You feel or me feel?
Hold on, DJ. Do you know how that makes DJ feel? Because basically, what you're doing is the world that DJ knows. And man, slap the hell out of me if I'm lying. The world that DJ knows, you should definitely see the awesomeness and the beauty of the women of your own race. Just as much as you see the other race.
In DJ's world, we accept women of all color, and we're around 30 now without one. So
yet again,
yeah.
God damn it.
So any as long as she's funny.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is, it's not that I'm unattracted to white girls. It's not that I'm against the idea of ever enjoying a white girl, right? Like, it's not that I'm off limits to certain colors. It's that for me to express a preference as a white person, I'm expressing that I'm discluding other things.
You're indifferent as fuck. Yes, you're indifferent.
What do you mean indifferent? Like it's just like,
for your
we'll
race,
say, like,
you're literally choosing outside of your race, and that's it. That's all the fuck I want to see. Come on, I want beautiful black women. That's all the fuck I want to see. And
no, I'm more attracted when it comes to, like, we'll say a physical or a sexual attraction. I'm more attracted to black girls. When it comes to personality, when it comes to expression, when it comes to bubbly nature, black girls have that naturally compared to white girls. White girls are very reserved in a lot of ways. And then the ones that aren't are the ones that, like, I won't say any names because that gets pretty stereotypical.
Yeah,
but loud white girls are my least favorite kind of white girls.
Why?
Like,
those are lit white girls. Those are lit.
This is the downfall, right? This is the downfall where it hurts me as a person. I've seen so many examples of different types of people growing up and not knowing where I fit in them. Now I'm to the point where I'm 30 and I've figured out where I'm attracted, where I feel right, what feels natural and comfortable for me.
Okay, I have a question
and
for you,
it's
Brandon.
something completely drastically out of the normal for what I would have been 5 years ago, or somebody else would have seen me as.
I got you 100%, but I have a question for you, bro. You and DJ, fuck that, man. How many couples do y'all know that are interracial? I mean, do y'all know mostly, like in percentages, white versus black? What was the percentage of couples that you know that are interracial?
My cousin is married to a black girl, but let me preface it with I don't get out much. I don't know that many couples. Okay, like I ain't, but in my immediate family, I have a cousin that's married to a black girl. She's great. We have a great time when they come over and shit like that. But
let me tell you something, DJ. Here's the thing. And I hope you hear me on this. The fact that you can name that one black cousin that is married to a white person is the thing that is the reason why I asked that. Because I can I name one black person that's married to my wife? Listen to how I explain this shit right here. And I don't know if this is going to reach out to anybody, but this is the crazy shit right here. And this is the reason why I love reactions right now, because it brings the whole everybody together. I need y'all to understand this shit right here. Out of my entire family, I don't have one motherfucker that's married to a white person. Listen to that. That's how separated our worlds are. Mm-hmm. Think about that shit, man.
Well, interracial couples are
a fairly new anybody that's dating. I don't even know anybody in my family that's dating a white person. Think about that shit.
It could be where you're at too. Like I said, where I grew up and even where I live now, in the suburbs of Cleveland, it's a good mix. Like it's not predominantly black, it's not predominantly white. There's certain areas that are.
Pot, man. We are in the melting pot of the world, man. Washington D.C.
Right. So
the melting pot.
But what I'm getting at is it's only been within the last, and I think we could all be real with this. It's only been within the last 5 to 10 years that even in cinema, interracial relationships are being acknowledged.
That is true.
Right? So it's a fairly, I don't want to say it's a new thing that black people date white people or white people date Hispanic people or whatever.
New thing.
But it's definitely a new social normality, right? We're not used to seeing it in is like where I live, it's fairly common.
Thing, though.
Where I live, it's fairly common. Out here, there's definitely a lot more couples that are the same race, but there's a good mix of couples as well. And
here's the thing.
Now that also goes to that goes to another question of how many of those couples are still together, right? How many of those interracial relationships do you see interracial children, but you don't see both of the parents?
When we think of relationships, this is how I think of relationships, and hopefully you understand exactly what I'm saying. When something is so different, you notice it. Think about that shit. When something is so different than a norm, you notice it.
Yep.
Me, I'm only fucking noticed because I'm different. There would be no freaking conversation with me if I wasn't different. So that goes the same with every single relationship that you know of. That's like, I know somebody that's dating a black person. Only reason why you notice that is because it's different. I noticed this because it's different.
Right.
It's not the same as the fucking world. Everything that we notice is different.
That's where it I think it seamlessly ties in to the LFR family channel, right? Like we can get into talking about the current state of the channel at this point, and that's where it all comes from, right? Like we're all here for different lived experiences, but we see, and we can talk about this if you want to, as far as reaction channel goes, where there's a lot of, and I'm sorry if this offends anybody, but there's a lot of reaction channel viewers that are there specifically to watch a black guy react to their white music or their thing that they never would have thought a black guy would have ever heard, right?
Hey, so I want to flip it another way. There's a lot of reaction channels out there that know that and have taken advantage of the fact that you see, I ain't gonna call out no names. I don't even know if you might have done it too, Van, but okay, you can't be a hip hop head for 3 years reacting to new metal music. You've reacted to metal music for 3 years. You're a metalhead now. Welcome.
You're right. And I love that you said that. I love that you pointed that shit out. And I don't want to snitch on my brothers. So I'm gonna plead the fifth.
The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, so I mean that's one of the things, right? So
and all some shit, man.
Hey, real quick. I just want to say one thing real quick. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to start no shit, but you know, there are some. I've seen it, man. It's like you've been reacting to metal music for 3 years now. You done heard more songs than I have, and I'm a fan of metal. So like, let's chill with the whole like, I'm new to this thing.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and I think you see that a lot, and I'll humble myself to say the first video I saw of yours was the Popular Monster reaction.
Right.
It wasn't that I got on YouTube with the intentions of I want to go find a black guy that has heard this song and see what he thinks about it, right? But you get in this, like, I searched Popular Monster, and then it comes up underneath it. It says, you know, reaction to Popular Monster.
Hold on one second, Brandon. Hold on one second. This is my guardian. Hey, Diane. Hey, Diane.
Hey, baby. Please, I gave you another thing. Brittany had the baby today.
Brittany had the baby?
Hold on, baby.
Hold on one second, guys. This is my guardian, man. This is the one who actually adopted me, man.
Man, live.
Right.
God. And her daughter's her granddaughter just now had a baby.
Baby.
Hey, where you at? You over at Donnie's house?
I'm still over here taking care of these puppies. Did you see the pictures I sent you?
Yeah. How many puppies is it?
There's 6 puppies, but do you see the smallest one?
What about the smallest one?
Do you see how little that little teeny one is?
Yeah.
Okay. One day I was looking on my phone, right, at all the little tiniest puppies in the world, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was looking at the puppies and I said, I like to have me one of those puppies. This puppy ain't gonna get no bigger.
Really?
This puppy ain't gonna get no bigger.
Well, if it's not gonna get any bigger, then do you know how long it'll live though?
I don't know, but like I said, God only knows. But this puppy is strong. She's running over top of this. Big ones out the way.
Hey, Diane.
What, baby? What?
I want to ask you one question. Can you answer a question for me, please?
I definitely could.
If you can define me as a teenager, how would you define me?
How would I define you as a teenager?
Yeah, as a teenager.
I would define you as a gentleman, comical, Lord, was very, very, very well-mannered, helpful, understanding, draw your own opinion. You didn't mind listening, taking other advice. Very loving, very loving. Very helpful. You didn't mind doing things around the house. I didn't have to holler and scream about do this, do that. No, I didn't have to go through that. With none of y'all men, like little fellas in the house. But y'all know I was time enough for it. But you love girls for one. You thought you was a player to a certain degree. I used to watch your eyes. You understand what I'm saying? I used to watch your eyes, how your eyes used to look around and stuff, you know. You wanted something out of life, but you didn't know which way you was going. But you started learning how to sing. You wanted to sing, but then again, you didn't know what you really wanted as far as singing. Because I thought all y'all was going to be rappers at one time. You was rapping a little at one point you was rapping. I never had to worry about you actually doing anything for me to catch you doing. Now, if you done anything, well, that goes for any of y'all. If y'all done anything, you did it without Cousin Diane being aware of it. You did have respect for me. You understand? You have a whole lot of respect for me. You have respect for the house. As far as I was concerned, if I'm not there, I don't know what y'all did when I was there. Because that's one thing that goes for any parent. Parents don't know what their children do when they are not in the house. You understand what I'm saying? Because kids gonna be children. You understand? Because we was children at one time. I just feel that, it was worth it. It was worth me sacrificing and becoming your guardian when I became your guardian. Right? Because you made my life. You helped to make my life worth living. You understand what I'm saying? Because I had a purpose. When I adopted you and I got you in my life, I had a purpose. Because I know I had to raise you, Sean, and Donnie. You understand what I'm saying? And then when your brothers came, it was just amazing along with all of y'all together. I mean, my life would not have actually been worth anything to a certain degree if I didn't have y'all, because I didn't really found my life really until I found y'all. I had a purpose to live. You understand that? Because even with you and with you, when I got you in the house, Sean and Donnie used to always go over to their fathers and their grandmother's houses. You understand what I'm saying? They was more so on that side of the family. But you stuck with me. You was the one that helped let me see that, hey, everything is going to be okay because I'm not going to leave you. You didn't leave me. When everybody else would go out to their grandmother's or to their dad's house or whatever, I always knew I had Van in the house to help, to motivate me, to give me that courage to say, come on, cuz, you can do it. Because you got me. You understand what I'm saying? And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Because a lot of times during that time, some of that time I was seeing psychiatrists, and you didn't even know. You didn't know your cousin was seeing a psychiatrist. Sean and Donnie don't know my life. They don't know my life. They never even questioned that. Be concerned about where I came from and what's actually up here in my head and what's in my heart. You understand? But when you came into my life, you gave me help to give me a purpose to live and survive and to be stronger. I had a purpose. Because Sean and Don, they gave me a purpose, but they was more so into their dad and their grandparents, But I had you, and I thank God that God gave me someone else to actually to love and love me, because your children can love you, but children love their dads more than they love their moms. Sean and Donnie, they love me, but they didn't stay under me a lot. Because Donnie went to move with his dad. You remember when Donnie went to move with his dad?
Oh yeah, I remember. Okay. He was living it up. He was living a good life then. He went to live with his dad. Then LaShawn, she was back and forth living a good life. Miss Totally and stuff like that. I mean, they was living a good life.
It wasn't easy for me, but due to the fact I had you, I had a purpose to say, hey, I can go on. It's a reason for me to do this. And you gave me so much respect. You appreciate all the little things I did. You know what I'm saying? No matter what I put on that table, if I put what was it? What was it?
Porridge.
Y'all should call it porridge. It was made out of cornmeal that you make cornbread out of it. Y'all you never frowned your nose up at nothing I did. Y'all look forward for that meal. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever I prepared, y'all was thankful for that. And and even when I went out there and was getting the cheese and the welfare and all that little stuff like that, hey, we made things work for us. We made it work for us, and we didn't frown our nose up on things because we feel that we could have better. No, what God put there is what you get until God can do better for you. You understand?
Absolutely.
So, like I said, hey, you as a teenager, I only had to whip your tail one time. And you wasn't even a teenager then. You was, I don't know what grade you was in when you got a spanking. All of y'all got that spanking that time for being comical.
Oh, you lit our ass up.
For being loud in school, because I'm gonna tell you something about you. You was a joker. You wanted to keep the class excited. The teacher said, I really enjoyed him. But sometimes, man, he plays a little too much. Because you was very comical in class. But after that ass whipping I put on you that time, the teacher asked me, she said, I don't know what you did to Van. But I ain't hear him all day long.
Van, is she able to hear us too?
All day long. I haven't heard him all this week. But after that, I'm going to be honest with you, I ain't never had to whip y'all ever again. Never. I only whipped y'all one time.
Hey, Diane.
Huh?
I love you so much. I have one more question, and I'm gonna just, and you don't have to say too much. But have we ever had to jump on any of your men that did you wrong, your boyfriends or anything like that?
Oh, did y'all? Oh my God! I remember one time the guy at the rental office y'all were looking out the window when we moved in our new apartment. And the man was up at the top of the step, and he was all up in my face, cussing at me. You, Van, and London, and Dwayne ran up out that house. And he was the major's man. Y'all was getting ready to put a spot to that man. I don't mean no harm. Y'all was going to put that man. We was getting ready to get evicted that same week that we had moved in. Then it came to when I was messing with that man named Bonnie. That man came around, he took it through a brick and hit our balcony window and broke our balcony window. I said, Van, London, and Dwayne, that man that broke the window. You, Van, London, y'all went out there, and I hate to say it, y'all beat that man up. I don't know what y'all hit that man with, but that man went to Southeast Community Hospital. And when he went over to Southeast Community Hospital, he told the police over there that somebody over across the street, kids had beat him up. The police came to the house that day and knocked on the door. And they said, this man, he was bleeding too, said this man said that your kids up in there beat him up. I said, well, officer, wait a minute. Did that man tell you that he took it through a brick and hit this window right here and knocked the balcony window out? And my kids, they was trying to protect me? The officer told him, said, come on, now you got to go. They didn't lock y'all up. Y'all didn't get in no trouble for that neither. But did you remember the other man I used to mess with named Leroy? You remember Leroy? Y'all used to take the table parts. The tables are loose, the legs off the tables, and chase that nigga down. Man. But at all for y'all. And then remember one time when Bonnie pushed me up against the cabinet in the china closet in the living room on 3rd Street?
Uh-huh.
Donnie came out the room.
Oh my God.
Punched that man in the face.
He fell out.
Donnie knocked that man out. And I thought the man was dead. I had to throw hot, cold water on the man's face to bring the man through.
Come on.
After that, man, you think I'm lying. Cousin Diane ain't never want another man to live with her ever.
We was whipping all their ass.
Every nigga I had, y'all was whipping them up.
Hey, Dad.
I used to tell Nate, Lee, because Lee was a big nigga. Y'all wasn't really scared of him or nothing like that. Y'all wasn't really scared because he was just somebody coming in and out, right? But y'all wasn't really scared of him. But like I said, hey, I knew y'all had my back when it came down that nigga too. So like I said, that's why I'm alone now, because y'all chase every damn nigga away from Cutting.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I ain't nothing wrong with being alone. At least I'm still alive.
I love you so much.
I love you too,
I
baby.
love you so much. I'm going to talk to you a little later, okay?
Okay, baby. Love you.
Love you. I'm sorry, guys. That was
Wow.
so unprofessional, man.
Hey, I don't think we didn't have that in our questions, but I think we would have if we knew we could have.
Yeah. Well, I think
that was amazing.
I think that did a great job of just tying together every bit of personal experience you had
What I love is that everything you told us that you did, she told it back.
Yeah.
She said it right
Listen,
back.
DJ, I just want to say this, man. Because of life, I am so many things, man. But a liar, I am not.
Right.
Unless I fucking see fit to do it in order to survive. If I feel like I gotta survive, I gotta get out of a dark place. I gotta make sure that I walk away from this bitch without getting shot. I know how to do that. Don't give a fuck if you walk up. Man, we had, oh my God, bro. Bruh, we had like 10 people roll up on us in Southeast DC. Now we in the worst neighborhood. We had like 10 youngins roll up on bikes. And they was like, man, give us what y'all got. You know what I said? I said, which one of y'all niggas got a knife or a gun? Imagine that shit. 10 dudes roll up on you on bikes telling you to give it up. And you look the worst one in the face and you say, man, tell me which one of y'all niggas got a knife or a gun. If the answer is no, I'm walking the fuck away. That's who I am. I've always been that way. My big brother raised me to be that way. This shit ain't always a fun place to be. And that's why I love good people, man. That's the shit right there. In order to love good people, you can't lie to fucking good people. Survival is different. I know how to survive.
Well, that brings up a question. That brings up a question that I wanted to get to without skipping over too much from Carl. And, you know, we just heard from somebody very important from your personal life. And given this reaction channel and the things that you've done, you've been given a very unique opportunity to get to know a new, different type of family, right? And given that new environment to you, you had a 100,000 celebration stream where you got to hear from all of us, a good portion of us, and we all spoke to very intimate things, very personal things, and the things that you've been through, the things that you've lived through. You know, I've spoke to you as a father before, and your childhood, the word father is.
Speaking of, man, you ain't received no mail. God damn it.
Yeah, I showed you. I got the masks here. I got a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I tried to show you. I called you that night.
Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, man. I was like, God damn it. I know everybody is receiving their stuff. Did my man receive his stuff? We sent them.
Yeah. I tried to call you, but you heard from us in a very intimate way.
Right.
So I kind of want to know what that, you know, you knew when you got that phone call, you knew that there was going to be a conversation there that was meaningful, right? This is somebody that's been there for a very long time. It's part of your lived experience. This LFR family, the YouTube channel, the Discord, the Patreon fam, all of that stuff is kind of new. So kind of tell us about what it's like hearing, like, you heard the same sort of things from the Patreons in your 100,000 celebration. You know, you're getting validation from the same things you struggled with as a kid. And like I said, the word father from your childhood meant something completely different than what that word means to you now. You know what I mean? So there's this kind of dichotomy of what you came from to what you are now. So Carl asked about what it was like hearing from people like us, validating the things that you've accomplished now.
First of all, man, you guys are amazing.
Drink?
Huh?
There's a drink. You got a drink.
I don't have anything.
Yeah, you've been keeping him sober tonight, man. You've been keeping him sober.
Sorry, guys. I don't have anything right now.
It's all right. Brandon and I just took a sip of some non-alcoholic, so it's all good.
I don't know, man. Honestly, bro. It's absolutely amazing, man. And I feel like I'm so undeserving. of people saying anything. I didn't only had one person to always give me good, like, you good. You got this. Stop being a fucking crybaby, man. You got this. And that's who y'all just now heard on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only person in my life to tell me, man, fuck that, man. You got it. Now my big brother, he definitely used to encourage me too. He was the only man figure in my life. So, which was, and when I say my big brother, y'all should know just from hearing from my cousin just now, that was her oldest son. She only had one son and one daughter, and they are both like 6 to 8 years older than me. So Donald is her son, and I always called him my big brother. And he taught me the other side of things, that strength, that you can't cry. You cry, you a bitch. Think about that. Mm-hmm. Nigga, I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. I didn't cry for fucking 5 years maybe. He taught me throwing up was being a bitch. I haven't thrown up since I was 13.
Shout out Jackie Moon.
Listen, bro. Listen to me. He told me throwing up was being a bitch. I haven't thrown up since I was 13. It's many times I felt like I had to, but I thought if I did, what? So when y'all say those things about me, man, nah, man, I didn't have that type. What the fuck? That's me right there. I'm that guy from back then. I'm that guy who got fucking bruises on like at least 50% of my knuckles just for doing shit I didn't even want to do.
Well, it's important that you understand one very key thing. There's people like me and DJ and Craig and Carl and, like, I don't want to speak for too many people, but the things that you have gone through in your own lived experience are something that we have never gone through and most likely will never go through, right? So there's a level of understanding that we'll never have of that intimate personal experience. However, we benefit from seeing the type of person that comes from those environments, that comes from those things. You're accessible to people that look like me, right? If I want to reach out and understand something from an experience that I have never lived and will likely never live myself, what better way to do it than to align myself with somebody who is accessible? You're somebody who has taken everything that you've gone through, and rather than building up a wall and saying, fuck everybody that don't look like me, I'm going to make it good for me and mine, you've embraced the opinions of everyone so that you can better yourself to better your hustle, right? So now you're seeing people that don't look like you, that you've got to understand that we're getting, it's almost a selfish thing for some people. It's like, I'm getting a lot out of getting to know you because I'm seeing the things that you've lived and understanding the things that you've lived without the tragedy of having to go through it myself, or ever having to go through it myself.
Well, I will answer that. I will address that by saying something about what DJ brought up. And DJ, bro, only reason why I started dying laughing like that, man, because when you pointed that out, that shit is so fucking true. That most people who are of my experience, they listen to that rock and they put hip hop head did this, rapper does this. They do that shit as a strategy because they know it fucking work. Mm-hmm. That's it. It's about keywords. It's about where you place the words. YouTube teach you all that shit. I've got freaking Patreons who've bought me books that I've been freaking learning certain things about this, that, and the other. And here's the thing though, DJ. It's all about who you are. Like me, I really consider myself to be a good person. I consider myself to be a good person. But motherfuckers who don't know me, people who have done what I've done, dude, they will be buried under the jail. I'm still a good person though. But how can you tie that shit in? Some people like, whoa, you did what? I'm not naming some of the shit I've done. But trust me, if I did, come on, bro. But I decided to be that good person. Now, it's some people out there who are able to tap in and say, hip hop head is listening to this. They're only doing that shit for the money. They don't look at people as people. They look at the people on YouTube as freaking numbers, and that's it. Because most of them don't have good fucking hearts, man. Most of them don't have good hearts. I'm just, and I'm telling you this from what I know so far. I've learned so much, and not from just, oh, let me watch this person's channel, or let me watch this person's channel. No, I've been fucking listening to these books on Audible, and when they're not on Audible, I'm reading them. And when I looked at that new daggone series on Netflix, it talks about that shit. Because it's true. Once people learn how to cheat the code, they do exactly that.
Yep.
And it's some people who are learning that do not have good hearts. And it's some of y'all favorite fucking reactors. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to name no names.
We ain't going to name nobody.
Absolutely.
Well, without naming any names other than the LFR family channel, we can speak to the opposite side of that. You know, like you've got a channel here where, and I'll reference Tony Robbins, one of the greatest motivational speakers in history, I guess. He was talking about why we do what we do.
I never heard of Tony Robbins.
He's a phenomenal person when
Isn't
it comes to. So he does seminars for weekends that cost thousands and thousands of dollars to go to. It's the closest thing to a cult following that's not a cult, because it's just like he's there to motivate people and make people believe in themselves, and he really breaks it down in a very real way, right? And when we're talking reaction channels, there's so many reaction channels that do the dishonest thing to go for clickbait or go with what's going to drive numbers. Now, if you'll see a lot of those videos get a lot of views, but if you look at their subscriber counts, they're similar to the LFR family. If you look at their Patreons, numbers are probably similar to the LFR family. You know what I mean? So now when it comes to the LFR family channel, we do something, if you think about why we do what we do, within the LFR family, there's a very big focus on immersion and getting to know ourselves every day, right? Like you look in what Tony Robbins was saying.
We got 65. Oh wait, you can't even say it. 65 Patreons members right now.
Right, awesome.
Which is phenomenal, right? So when you explore yourself, a lot of these channels it's people exploring music. The LFR family it's all of us, whether it's Van, whether it's Naya, whether it's JoJo, whether it's the Patreon family. We're all exploring us in a very unique way with two things, which is how do we better understand and how do we better contribute, right? And that's a very key thing to think about when it's why do we do what we do. And that ties into why is the LFR family channel the way that the LFR family channel is. And it's because when we do these reactions, it's not for clickbait. When Van does these reactions, it's not for clickbait. It's not for, let's start a race conversation or let's be controversial or this. There may be some of those things. Right. There may be some of those things innately along the way, but the overall idea of this channel is we're watching a content creator better understand something and understand his way on how to contribute better content, right? So if you want to, we can talk about going forward what the what the plans are for the LFR family channel, and I know we've got some weeks that you've got NF week that you've done Tom McDonald week, we're doing Stan week right now. If you want to talk about things to be excited for within that reaction environment for anybody who's seeing this who may not be part of it.
Excited for the growth of this channel. Be excited for the people that you see and the people that you hear me name. They are about to do some big shit.
And let's also not forget we're trying to get my man Van on the road to doing this full time. So if you would just go buy one of these right here, buy one of these.
Yeah, get one of those joints, man. My man DJ, you're so dope, man. And And that's the things right there that choke me up, man. This DJ is on another side of the world. You're on another side of the world, LFR Jesus.
I'm like 4 hours from you, by the way.
See, there you go.
You want to meet up? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
Not even. And we're talking
leave
about
that conversation for
talking
chance.
about. Here's the thing, though. We're talking about distance. I'm talking about how we grew
mentally,
up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so crazy to me that we're now working together. But the things that I have planned for this channel, man, I come up with idiotic ideas all the time. But I know that out of 100 ideas, I'm going to come up with one. And I come up with so much because I do nothing but try to learn how to understand other people that I don't understand. That's what makes movies so interesting. That's what makes TV shows so interesting. Because we're looking at something, either because we can really relate or because we can't relate at all. It's one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the two. That's the only reason why I grew up fuck that. I can't name one white person that I listened to my entire freaking life from 1 year old to probably like 25. Not one. Hold up. I got one. And here's the thing I told you too, Brandon. If you can think of it right like that, that's how different it is. Vanilla Ice.
Stole that beat from Queen, but that's
Color Me Bad, R&B. Was it Color Me Bad was singing in R&B? I think they had 2 white guys and 1 black guy or something like that. But they were singing R&B.
You
can reach for a lot of things, yeah.
That's it.
You can reach for a lot of things.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that because like it always sticks out in my mind when there's a black singer in metal or a black like group in metal. It's like, oh man, this is cool. I don't know why this is so cool, but it's cool. Bro.
Hey DJ, it pissed me off. I did one to Live in Color.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a black rock band.
Yep.
Cult of Personality.
It got blocked. Yeah.
So I put it on
Vernon Reed. That's the guitar player.
I saw them perform live, and that was one of the performances that I was so surprised of. Like I was like, holy! Not just that they were black, right? Like it wasn't that I was like, oh my god, it's black people at a rock show. It was like, holy shit, they're good. Like I had no like. I remembered that it was an older band. I knew that it was just something that I knew I had heard of, but I couldn't put it on a radar anywhere. And then I clicked. I was like, "Oh yeah, rock band." That game, there was the song called "The Personality," right?
Brandon, you do realize that's everything, though, right? That is everything in life. That's why, like basketball, for instance, when you know a white guy that plays in the NBA, that motherfucker is bad.
Hey, shout out Alex Caruso, okay?
Exactly. You know a black guy in golf, that motherfucker is bad.
Hey, shout out Tiger Woods, okay?
But here's the thing: in every part of our lives. If we know somebody doing something that's different from what their people are usually known for,
it sticks out.
That motherfucker's bad. They're bad. Period.
Yep. Who's the comedian that made that? Who's the comedian? There's a comedian that made a joke like that. I think it was Dave Chappelle. He said Dave Chappelle made a joke during one of his stand-ups where it was like, if you see that white guy hanging out with all the black people on the street, you know he's the baddest motherfucker out there.
He's the baddest motherfucker. Yeah. That's why I said Brandon gets all that black pussy because you know what?
Chill. All right. So, with that being said, I'm excited going forward about all the growth within the LFR family.
Y'all are amazing, bro. Let me just say that.
I'm out.
Everybody, go ahead and drink again. We're doing.
No.
Van's doing Stan Week right now on the LFR family channel. If you guys have not subscribed, make sure you guys go over there, check it out. Make sure that you get on Van for missing the bars that he shouldn't miss.
I miss so many, man.
Tell him each and every bar that he missed and make sure that he's doing it correctly. And then going forward, you will see DJ and I weekly here. We're going to have different guests going from week to week, and we'll keep you guys posted. I hope you guys enjoyed the open conversation platform we had, but this is what you can expect going forward from the LFR podcast. And you'll see DJ and I doing this quite a bit. Van, you're always more than welcome to join in on every one if you'd like to. If you want to be in every video, you can. If you want to sit out, you can. But you're you're the main guy over there. So if you wanna sit in at any time, even if it's just for a few minutes, and you just want to mess with someone, have Craig come on for his episode, and you can pop in and give him some shit for a few minutes.
Shout out to Craig.
Yeah,
Hey, real quick before you close it, Brandon, I also want to give or I want to note to anybody that's viewing this video, if my shit worked like I want it to, you'll see @ symbols and names next to each of our pictures, and those are our Twitter tags. So you should go on your Twitter app and you should press the follow button for all three of us here today.
Yeah, I like that.
We need to get that. We got 111,000 YouTube subscribers, and more than 500 of them have a Twitter page. But yet, my man Van sitting there around like 500 Twitter followers. You know, he's put some important shit out there. Like today, he talked some shit about UMG, and they deserved it. And more than 500 people, you know, should have heard that. So just tell your friends, follow us on Twitter.
I like that, man. Shout out to DJ.
Yep, for sure. And then if you guys, any of the Patreon members that are here, one thing, join our Patreon, jump into the Discord. You can get more involved in these podcasts specifically. We have an option to where you can send us some questions that we'll bring up.
Those links are at the bottom of the screen also.
Today. Yep. Join up, and you can watch this live too in the Discord as we record these things. So there's a lot of exciting things that we're excited to bring to you guys in the Discord. We'll see you soon. Van, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. DJ, as always.
Huh? What do you think? Someone thank you for coming. Absolutely.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah. All right, guys. Much love. We are all the LFR family. Hit that thing.
Hit that thing.
Peace.